decision making is going to be right on those blockers, split 4 and 7. The offside tackle, you scoop, we call it scoop, some people call it cut off, you scoop level. You got a 4-eye tackle, you cut them off. Just simple cut off block. You got a 5, you rip your full scoop through him and go on the linebacker level. The center and the guard slip. Okay, a slip toss is simply the center's got to try to run through the play side armpit of the nose and the backside guards, closing the split and trying to clip the center's outside and the nose guard's outside knee. Remember what I told you, if you get a slide nose before somebody axes, we don't have 2 tight ends, you give us a slide nose, we check the play the other way. We go right inside Veer, back to your reduced side. But if you are a slide team, we're going to play the whole game with 2 tight ends. Because now we're going to make you play a straight 50, something you probably don't want to play. The on tackle and the tight end are responsible for number 2, combo to number 1. The block of the tackle tight end is the key to the play's success. At Shaw, we call techniques for every play. We get up to the line, every one of our linemen makes a technique call, called the technique of the guy over him. We used to do it a million different ways. We used to call colors, we used to call blocking schemes. You know, double team used to be red. And we get a 5 tech, we say red. And drive the tackle back 10 yards. Well, after about 10 times of that defensive tackle, he hears us say red. He said, shoot on this. You know, I know red's a double team. You know, I'm going to grab grass and wasn't nearly as effective. When we double, we want to drive the tackle into the linebacker. So now we just call it techniques and we call them every play. What this has done for us is it allows the defense not to really know what scheme to expect. You know, we call tackles a 4-eye, we'll say 4-eye. We may be running outside here, we may not be, but all we're calling is the technique of the guy over me. And the technique of the tackle tells the tackle tight end how they're going to block the play. To get the play in motion, the tight end must call the technique of the defensive end. He can either, we don't even say 6, we either say 7 or 9. 7 or 9. We finish the tackle first. If the tackle is a 4-eye, inside shade on our tackle, the tackle has him by himself. He's inside of me, I better be able to block him. As an offensive tackle, I step with my inside foot. Of course, I'm trying to get movement, but the big key is I don't want to let him drive me in the back there. I want to get him off the line of scrimmage so we can get into the line and run the play. Tackle steps with his inside foot. Anytime we block, the inside technique, we step with our inside foot. If the tackle is a 4 tackle or head up, the tackle blocks him and assumes he has no help. Now he steps with his outside foot, his landmark is the outside armpit. Tight end steps flat on a 4 call. Tight end on a 4-eye, he's stepping flat going back. He knows he doesn't have to help the tackle. On a 4 call, he may have to help the tackle depending on whether that defensive tackle slants up. So the defensive tight end steps flat with his inside foot, keeps his shoulder square, rips his outside arm, stays on, punches the armpit of the defensive tackle as he goes through. So we got a head-up tackle on our tackle. Our tight end calls technique of his end, which would be 9. Tackle says 4. This tells our tight end, I do not have a double team block on the tackle unless he slants into me. I step with my inside foot, 90-degree step, rip my outside arm, keep my shoulder square, try to get my pads on the guy jamming these pads, go straight up the linebacker level. If the defensive tackle shows in my framework, I'll punch him through his outside armpit. On rare occasions, they will slant so far that it will have to become a double. If that happens, we will just double. We do not believe in combo blocking. When we combo block, we end up blocking either one of them. So your technique tells us whether we're going to single you or double you, with the exception of a 4 call, then we stab you. 5 call. Tackle is a 5 technique. Gap between the tackle and the tight end. No questions asked. We are double teaming him. No questions asked. Tackle calls 5, we double. We bring our asses together. Tackle's got the inside number, tight end's got the outside number. We're trying to get movement on the tackle straight back. We must get moving to make the linebacker run the hump or flat and not straight downhill. That's how we block a 50. That's the only way we block a 50. Again, if you slide the nose, we're checking one other way. Slide the nose all the time, we're going 2 tight ends. We think the play has a great success rate, and unless we execute poorly or get badly mismatched physically, we will gain yards. In '87, we had nobody signed. We led the city in rushing. This was our #1 play. I'll tell you now, we run it a lot. We practice it a lot. But That's up to me. I mean, if I want to put the time in practicing it, we can get good at it. If I don't want to put the time in, then it's my bad. Only way to stop the play consistently, and I'm talking now, we're talking 50 defense here. We're going to get split 4 in a second. Only way to stop the play consistently is to put the end on dive, the linebacker on quarterback, the strong safety on pitch, use the free safety as a field play. Now you can't run a strong safety to quarterback and let the free safety go to the pitch. We see that too. That's what we think is the way. If you're going to stop outside Veer, that's the way you got to do it. We think this puts the linebacker in a tremendous bind. He must tackle our best athlete, our quarterback, in an open field versus a blocking scheme designed to cut him off or run home. I'm talking about the linebacker now. 4-4-eye tackle, we're going to get our tight end on your linebacker. Get a seal, got our quarterback turning upfield. 5 tackle, we're going to double the tackle, make the linebacker run home. We think if the linebacker can't run a perfect scrape angle to the inside hip of our quarterback, replacing the 9 technique, you're not going to tackle our quarterback in that kind of situation. And like I said, we get as many big plays, ducking linebackers, and running cutback yards as we do when we get the linebacker. Okay? If we know we get a 4-eye team, we will open our tight end split to make it even easier for him to get down. All right, playing it inside out. Inside out, meaning putting the tackle and linebacker on dive and putting the end on quarterback won't work either. The play hits too fast, our blocking angles are too good. All we're doing is sealing it. We've had quarterbacks that people did not want to run. The kid is at Miami. If he turned on the outside Veer, he was scoring. Yeah? He was a state 100-meter champion. He was not a great runner, but he was awful fast. So if he hit the seam running, he was going to outrun everything in school. So we played teams, they would just put the end on on quarterback. He would jam and just squat, make it an easy read. We got a great angle now to seal you. We're going to double the tackle, a combo to it, get a seal. Our touchdowns come when we pop the dive. That's when we get our touchdowns. We run a straight line path, strong safety's outside, gets free safety, don't make the tackle, we score. Our touchdowns come when we pop the dive. We would rather you try to stop it inside out, but we think we have a better chance of popping. Versus an X gun, strong safety, defensive end X. You know, the stack from strong safety to a stack position and X him. Now the strong safety becomes the read. Read strong safety. He comes in, he becomes the dive feed. Now you read him, option in. We don't see that too much. We always end up popping the dive on that. Strong safety uses a little bit slower to get to the mesh. Last couple of years, people started running a tank stunt. We call it a tank stunt, call it anything you want. They would line the outside back and the defensive end up. Right on our tight end on the snap of the ball, he would come inside, try to hit the mesh. But that just becomes a split 4 principles for us. Tight end just washes him down, dive back, running with his head up, sees the tight end washing the 9. He steps around, seals the linebacker, and it becomes a double option. That's no different for us than going against a split 4. Okay, now, if it is stopped conventionally, we jazz it up. We used to scrimmage John Curtis every year, and Coach Curtis was talking to Glenn tomorrow. We played them a couple of times, and they were always the only team that could stop our outside Veer. They would win the end with jam and take dive. Inside linebacker would run perfect straight angles and take quarterback, and very rarely would be able to get underneath the quarterback. They would play with 4-eye tackles too, so we would have a tight end going right to back. But he jammed so good on the end that we could not get his back. One back was playing in Michigan now, one's coming to Mississippi State. Great players, 8th grade inside-out angles, and guys. Well, if that happens, if they're going to stop it that way, that's the way to stop it, we believe. Then if you're going to try to run the play, you got to jazz it up. You got to go to another formation to allow you to get the linebacker. The way the play can be stopped is if you can't get the linebacker and he can tackle your quarterback. But what we do is we go to an unbalanced formation. We put our Z receiver right outside our tight end. I think I got it on here. Put our Z receiver right outside our tight end. And we use him to seal the linebacker. Nobody else's rules change. Still 4-eye, 5. We still getting cover 3. Usually they'll keep the safety over. We don't care. Safety's got to tackle us. We don't even care about safety. He's got to make the tackle. Now we'll use that wing back that you see right here to seal inside on the linebacker, get a seal, and then we're back to the same thing we were in before. No different rules for nobody other than the wing back. We usually put our 3rd or 4th back in that wing back to do that. And we let him run on in there, check back him, They don't get the back, he takes it. If not, he goes to safety. We also use a Z formation. We use unbalanced or wing set or inverted wishbone, which is a Z, which is just, we call Z. And all these things are designed to seal the linebacker. The formation is designed to get a seal, and now the safety's got to become a quicker field player, and again, like the linebacker, he better be a good tackler. We just believe that if we